So I'll be giving you all the best stereo settings to make your speakers sound a lot more louder and to sound a lot more better, whether you have your speakers on an amplifier or not. This works for everyone. So make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's jump right into the video. So I have a Pioneer doubled in head unit here, and the same concept will apply for your head unit. Every head unit is gonna have similar or different features, but the same concept will apply for your head unit. So starting off, let's go into settings, and in settings let's go on to volume, and then you guys are gonna see EQ. Let's go on to EQ. And how I set my EQ for my speakers is that usually when tuning for my speakers to make my speakers sound a lot more better, how I set my EQ is that usually I do a smiling face. So coming over here on custom, the smiling face, which I increase the dB on the lower frequencies, and then leave the middle frequencies, and then over on the high frequencies I also increase the dB. So in that way I created a smiling face on the EQ. And in that way, what will happen here is that you guys will bring out the clarity in your speakers and the performance in your speakers. So my speakers should be sounding a lot more better with this EQ setting right here. So I would recommend for y'all to just set your EQ similar to this. It doesn't have to be the exact setting, but try to create a smiling face while tuning on your EQ. Now coming out of EQ, you guys are gonna see fader and balance. Usually I leave everything in the center. I do not want my left speaker to sound more louder than the right speaker. I want everything to be balanced while listening to my speaker. So I just leave everything in the center right here. Coming out of fader and balance now. Coming on volume, you guys do not need to trouble this as well. The main volume, talking volume, the Bluetooth audio volume, you guys do not need to trouble or touch these settings right here. So coming on loudness now. For loudness, if you guys are trying to get a little bit more loudness from out of your speakers, what I would recommend for y'all to do is to go on low loudness or mid loudness. I wouldn't recommend high. With setting your loudness on high, what will happen is that you guys would only be able to turn up your volume at like 10% of the full volume. So it's not recommended to set your loudness on high, and the high it will be too much for your speakers as well, especially like when y'all crank up the volume, you guys can blow your speakers easy. So with setting the loudness, I usually set my loudness on mid, low, or off. In this case, I'm gonna set it on low. Then coming out of loudness now, you guys are gonna see bass boost. I wouldn't recommend for y'all to use bass boost. What bass boost does, it just increases the bass in your speakers. So it's not recommended for y'all to increase the bass. If you guys are looking to get bass, I would recommend for y'all to just install some subwoofers in the back, but your speakers aren't supposed to be playing bass. So I just leave the bass boost on off. And coming down on cutoff now, this is the most important part of tuning for your speakers. Now coming over on cutoff now, you guys are gonna see the front HPF, which is a shortened form for high pass filter. A great starting point to set your high pass filter for your speakers is at 80 Hz. So I'm gonna set my high pass filter at 80 Hz. And with setting my high pass filter at 80 Hz now, what will happen is that the frequencies above 80 Hz will be playing in my speaker, but the frequencies below 80 Hz now won't be playing in the speaker. Your speakers are not supposed to be playing bass, and that is the main purpose of the high pass filter. It's used to block out the lower frequencies or the frequencies your speakers aren't supposed to play. And then the same goes for your rear high pass filter as well, for your backdoor speakers. So coming on the rear high pass filter, I'm gonna just set my high pass filter at 80 Hz as well. And then coming on your subwoofer LPF, which is the shortened form for low pass filter, a great starting point to set your subwoofer low pass filter is at 80 Hz. And with my low pass filter being set at 80 Hz now, what will happen is that the frequencies above 80 Hz won't be playing in my subwoofers, but the frequencies below 80 Hz now will be playing in my subwoofers. So the cutoff feature is very important, and it can improve your speaker clarity by cutting out the frequencies your speakers aren't supposed to play. So this is how my speakers are sounding before tuning on my car stereo. I put Prada on my collar cause she proud of what I said. I got on following my footsteps like the feds. I shoot like I'm a Montana chopper. I've been getting it since the Tyler. I keep dollars on my head. Been a real one is my motto. And my pilot I got on following my footsteps like the feds. I shoot like I'm a Montana chopper. Like new phantom in the backseat sipping red. So after the tuning for my speakers, the difference I'm seeing and the difference I'm hearing is that I improved the mid bass in the speaker. The mid bass is kicking a lot more louder, and the clarity and the loudness in the speakers are a lot more better. I would highly recommend for y'all to try out these settings. It's the most optimal for your speakers, especially if you guys do not have your speakers on a amplifier, or even if you guys have your speakers on a amplifier. Either works perfect. If you guys find this video very helpful, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll be catching you guys in my next video. Love y'all guys.